He's already got a.
I don't know what he's doing, but he's there, and that's rude, because the rest of us are here.
I might swap.
Well, he's.
I heard he was a big skier.
He probably has one of those pairs.
I know.
Well, good for him.
Okay,
Or I wouldn't do well.
everybody ready?
Okay.
Okay, we'll start with the roll call.
Sure thing.
Barry
Oh.
Herman,
Here?
Vivian Welton,
Here.
Mark Lodi, Alan Vella.
Here.
Kevin Van Blarkum, MJ Reese,
Here.
James Menta, Leah Perla, Hillary Smith, Roy Digness, and myself.
MJ. What, do you want to call those?
What's that?
You didn't do the pledge?
Oh, yes, let's do the pledge. Sorry, I'm trying to connect to the internet.
That's okay.
Completely. Shall we do the pledge?
Yeah.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yes, that's what it is.
Okay. And then on the minutes, the only thing I noticed was Leah was here last month, right?
Did I have I'm sorry.
That's
I will fix
okay.
it.
She just was in the middle of the other people who were absent, so it was very easy to,
It's just I'm very small.
yes, that's,
That's what it is.
yeah. Petite, very petite.
Well, like we're giants.
We're all looking.
Okay. Other than that, I thought they were fine,
Yep.
so I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
I'm gonna turn off one of these mics.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Aye.
hi.
I'll abstain, I wasn't
Why
there.
do you want to turn the mic off?
I'm getting feedback. Am I the only one who's hearing all the feedback?
Yes.
I'm the only one
Is there
hearing.
I heard it too, but never heard it again.
Never mind.
I didn't hear anything from here.
Okay.
Okay,
Great.
so the next item
Yes. Thank you.
would be,
Yeah, I just don't think we need all of the mics on.
Well, I guess, this isn't, is this being broadcast?
Yeah.
Yeah, so usually they have trouble hearing at home. So unless,
Great. And then do you pull the audio from these mics?
Yes,
That's where they pull the audio?
yeah,
from?
yeah.
Okay, great.
so in the second email I sent out,
No, I don't hear it.
wait, I hear it.
Yeah, okay.
When I
I'm just
talk.
trying not to make that.
It's just like a drum, kind of,
Yeah.
a vibration. Maybe if I,
Yeah, I just heard it again.
so I just thought our committee should be aware of the the Shandaken Conservation Advisory Committee. We put together a Government Operations Climate Action Plan. And there's gonna be a hearing on it. So I sent a copy to everybody, I just wanna make sure we were aware of it. That's all.
when is the hearing, or who is running it?
The town's running the hearing, the town board, we did the draft plan, but the town board is the one who has to do the hearing and adopt it,
Okay,
so,
so that's for the climate,
yeah, so the
Smart
climate,
committee.
yeah,
okay.
okay. And the next thing is the grant, we did not get the grant for this go-around, so of course they'll reapply, because it's an ongoing thing. How many months is it?
Well, there's probably gonna be another offering in April or May.
Okay, that's what I thought, it was twice a year.
There's also another offering by the end of Jan,
Okay,
a different kind of CMA that we could jump on to.
specific grant did we apply for that we did not get? That was the Climate Smart Community Planning Grant for the Department of State. So there's a smaller grant that we could apply for that has a January deadline that is through the Greenway Compact.
The Greenway,
Yes.
the $10,000 grant.
And that would be, you know, just for like our phase one for the survey and
Yeah,
for.
I was thinking that too, that we could just do that smaller one to have somebody come and help us do the survey.
Well, we break it down into phases. If we can get that smaller grant and get going in the process, then when we apply for a larger grant, we've established that we're, you know, properly moving forward with our process and that we have a consultant in place and, all right.
Might be good.
So for the last grant that we applied for, it seemed like you solely did that application? So could we collaborate better between the planning committee here and the grant application and make sure that we all feel that it's strong and that we have the best chance of acquiring the grant?
We can, we're also open to do the evaluation with the reviewers. They do basically a debriefing after the fact,
Mhm.
offer a debriefing after the fact for applicants who are not approved, to go over if there was some deficiencies in the application or areas that they thought were weaker. Ours was substantially similar to Olive's from the prior year that they did win. So I do think there is some sense that this is the competitiveness in this particular application round. 'Cause it wasn't a terribly specific application. It's comprehensive planning for a town, and ultimately a lot of those details were based off of a grant that had won in the prior cycle, for what it's worth. But to your point, yes, absolutely.
And some of that may have been, it was a new comprehensive plan for them, they never had one, where we have one, albeit old. That may have, and I'll know when I talk to
Mm.
the regional representative.
And you'll report back. Will they provide us with anything in writing, or it's just a verbal meeting?
Talk to them, I just been emailing, and they've been sending me forms.
At least they'll talk to us, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's a good thing that they're even planning to talk to us, that's, I like that, yeah.
They're very constructive, yeah, they, well, they,
And some of it is, I think, you know, there's only so much money in the pot.
Yeah.
well,
Dan, like you
always,
said,
yes,
we're
but-
reviewing. We're reviewing and other places are doing their first one, so I would think that that would get precedent.
I'm really surprised to hear that Olive doesn't have one. I thought they were kind of forward-thinking. Maybe we are.
I think they have to have a comprehensive plan to have had adopted zoning, no?
You know, I don't think so. You can, you know, a lot of people, and what I've been reading, even when we call something a master plan, what it used to be called years ago, you know, you can put something fairly rudimentary together and call it your master plan, which will pass for that. And it used to anyway.
Well, yeah, I mean, everything has evolved in its expanse and sophistication as we've learned more about what
And in
what
everything
needs to be.
I've been reading, if you don't have a master plan, your zoning is your master plan. So that's why they want your zoning to coincide with your master plan. Everything should complement each other, because otherwise, if you end up in court, you have a conflict. But if you don't have a master plan, they consider the zoning your master plan. So. All right, does anybody else have anything?
Well, does not having the grant, does that change anything that we're doing
No.
at the present?
No, I think we should keep on reviewing, and when we're done with that, I was thinking, maybe one or two of us would want to start editing and doing a draft, you know, just something to work from. I mean, of course, it's not going to be anywhere near complete, but just take what we have come up with our edits, put it into a new draft.
So
and then
do
work
it as
from
we
there.
go along?
Yeah, and we can, I mean, it's easy enough to update all the statistics and everything, all that stuff's right on the web. And
We
they-
know what we have, we know what's out of date with what we have, and what we
Right.
can update, all the new census data. You know, it may not be a perfect document, but it never will be.
Right,
But we can take the old survey, try and rework that, and put together another survey, a new
Mhm.
survey.
Right.
Something more for our town.
right.
I think we should intend to get that grant in January and,
Well, of course.
and have that moving forward. And as far as, you know, what we could be doing, I think we could be, you know, categorizing perhaps some of the, you know, the concepts that we want a planner to include in a survey and start getting at some of those, categories that may not be included in this plan at all, and sort of start fleshing out.
Well, you know what, I
You know.
agree with you, but I also think there's enough talent in this group. And I want the plan to be written by us, not the planners. The planners, I feel like, are the ones who are gonna make sure we dot all our i's and cross all our t's, and we don't overlook anything very important. But it's our town.
I agree. I just would like to have, you know, perhaps a refreshed view of how the plan could be presented and how the document itself could be modernized,
Right, more
streamlined.
friendly. Yeah, I don't-
You know,
I'm not
this
crazy
is
about the format.
this is very much like a, you know, a collegiate report and not like something that, you know, really provides the guidance at the level of the people who are seeking the guidance from it. So, you know, more graphics, more tables, more examples, more pictures. All of those things and a lot less words that don't, a lot less general words that don't really provide any,
And I would like to see more specifics, because like in this plan, I feel like they treated all the 12 hamlets the same. And they're not.
And I
Right,
think
You know,
that's a
that they can't be.
right.
And so, you know, then you have Route 28, it's, now we have the scenic byway. You know, I think a lot should be, to keep it
And
beautiful, to
we
keep it
could also
scenic.
start thinking about what kinds of mapping and analyses we want to see to help guide us for what the content should be. And we can get a lot of help, I think, from some of the agencies that are helping, like with the Housing Smart, like they have money available to them. So if we were to work with the Housing Committee and come up
Yes.
with a housing study and evaluation that we think would fit, you know, into our master
Well,
plan.
Leah and I go to the PH2 meetings, and they're gonna have a lot of stuff we can use, because they're doing a lot of good work, and they're already put out surveys, and then
Yeah,
that's how the- and
it's
then the
helpful,
housing
but
food-
it's not,
well, everything's helpful.
it's not the same as,
What I'm saying
you
is,
know, approaching the
for now, we're gonna
townwide.
work with what we've got. And yes, we can reach out to Pace University, we can reach out to the Department of State, and see if we can get some help. Because,
No, but we have the ability to get help through Ulster County from the Housing Smart for their initiatives.
Right.
And some of the things that there's money for is like a housing resource evaluation. Like so we should be talking, you know, to them and seeing what kinds of resources they have available and what kinds of, you know, studies that we could collaborate on and get,
with the housing committee.
yes, and using their, you know,
Well,
because we don't have any money right now, but they have access to money for studies that are ultimately going to be part of the comprehensive plan, whether or not it's part of whatever document we produce, the comprehensive plan is all of the different current documents, like the recreation plan and all of those things together. So if we can just look at all the different groups and see what kind of, what they have available.
So I think we could work on an
So-
outline of what we
Yeah.
want to put in, and then piece by piece, as we
Right,
get the
and then
data,
fill
to
it
get
in.
the ideas, then we just,
Like I've already
Yeah.
talked with, the housing committee and said, you know, at some point, we're gonna want you to come and have a meeting with us so we can collaborate.
If I might, I don't wanna.
No, go ahead.
One part question, one part request. One thing that I came up against a little bit last year, when attempting to help with mostly CMA grants, is that in some cases, we were either not eligible or received decreased consideration due to the age of the current plan.
Mhm.
The very quick version of this is our current plan is older than regional economic development councils. It does not mention the regional economic development councils, and they are the ones who are predominantly evaluating the CFA applications. Well, we are now eligible for a additional set of grants, or more eligible for other grants, predominantly because of the climate smart certification. So the request slash question of sorts is if there would be any potential or viability of an interim update prior to, from your group, your May meeting, at or prior to your May meeting, so that it could be adopted by the board at the June meeting prior to the CFA deadlines or openings, which is predominantly in July. I believe that would be helpful. Now,
Well, here's the thing.
there's no expectation that you would have a complete update by
Right, but
May.
what do we want to apply for? And that's what we should focus on, having an updated report that constitutes that section. So if it's gonna be like the Parks and Recreation, then their plan is the thing to advance. Do you know what I'm saying?
I do.
And those would be,
I mean, I
oh,
put it
those would
clear,
over,
candidly, some very simple terms of what can be done by May. Will apply to what can be done by
Right.
May.
So I think we should focus on the housing, because we do have, that's one of our most critical issues. It's something that there's,
To be honest, I mean, again, this is incredibly cynical. Change the font and approve it by May.
Okay, I get you.
Updated date, and somewhere right in the.
no, that's not okay. That's not okay.
Because at
We
least
can-
having an
yeah.
updated plan in there makes us.
It's not an
eligible for things
updated
that we're
plan.
not
That's just,
currently
that's not an
I
updated
think we
plan.
could do a lot by May,
I
yeah.
was gonna say that, I think just.
We can get something good that we can
eligible. Well, I
use,
mean, obviously, that's preferable, but. at
but
the
we're
end of
not
the
gonna,
day,
I don't, just,
Some
ju-
update.
He
will make
didn't
us
mean it.
eligible.
I just think, you said you want housing, what are the other items that are on the plate, so to speak?
well, I mean, that's a big one, because if we
I'm
can.
not saying that that's the only thing, but is.
But if we
what are
can
some
use that,
choices?
we can use the housing, avenue to start to look at density and, you know, and rezoning, and so
Density, zoning, housing,
it's all the same thing, basically, yeah.
So I might, I mean, I think we've done a lot of work up until this point, just in terms of like digging through. Obviously, I think this entire process has taken quite a bit longer than maybe we intended to, like, so all of that is to say, I think if we have a goal to have something to you by May,
Something
then
iterative.
right, then I think that is absolutely doable. I think that even if we took what we have done up until this point, like if we were to stop right now and just integrate all of these updates, that would be in and of itself somewhat of an update or a new version. I don't know exactly, I mean, I think it sounds like,
I agree with
It's a
you.
community process, so just by us going through and updating this document and revising it doesn't satisfy the intent and the law for comprehensive planning.
Right.
So,
I guess
so
I'm not-
that's why focusing on something that we can follow through with the entire process and have something that's really supportable if we focus on the housing and the zoning density, and we have the ability to, you know, retain experts through that.
So
By
can-
May?
Can I just,
By
Well,
May.
we're not
I mean,
gonna-
that's a massive chunk of this plan.
right, I guess I'm not sure, I guess I'm not knocking down what,
It's better than trying to just, you know,
No, I understand that, but doing
Pick
it
a side.
responsibly includes
You're
getting
right.
a survey out,
Getting a-
public hearings, town halls, it involves a
it
lot.
has to get sent to the planning board, you have to wait a certain amount of time for the planning board to do their review and send it
So
back.
realistically,
you know.
something like that happening by
There-
May
there's
seems
a,
unlikely to me.
yeah.
That's all.
Well, Robert, you're saying that we can just get something updated
yeah,
by
I
May?
think I'm
The
confused.
biggest issue I have is that when it asks for, does your town have a comprehensive plan?
It's 18 years old.
The answer is basically no.
But isn't that what we're trying to get a grant for?
Well, not
It
that
is,
grant,
but
not
for a lot of
the,
these
not for the
regional economic
CFA.
development Doesn't seem to count a plan that is older than their existence. Can it,
Possibly
right?
do both.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think if you,
If one would work on the housing and the rest of everyone else work on getting me to.
Wait,
Yeah, I think
wait, can we, let me just back up a second. I'm not sure I understand what you're saying, Hillary, that like, to really properly do this process, that we put forth something that we've worked on internally, that there's the questionnaire that gets sent out, that it gets approved by the board, so on and so forth. Totally understand that that is the process. If I'm understanding, like, that can be could be a parallel path to what Robert is asking for, which is something like what we have done thus far, you know, streamlined, edited, with the caveat that like this is a working draft or whatever it is, so that it can be simultaneously used to apply for grants while we are continuing to go through the process.
Then then why wouldn't he just say in process or draft? I mean.
But that's what he's saying.
because I have to have something that's been approved more recently than we have. I think if there is.
I honestly, I think that if we do it like that, it's not gonna be like something that they're gonna just see as
It's a checkbox, I can't really honestly check.
I get it, but they also review these applications critically, which is why we didn't get certain right? So,
But why, so let me just see if I'm understanding your point, which is, we aren't gonna be ready by May.
I don't think, no, probably
There's
not.
no
Right.
way, yeah.
Not with an updated comprehensive plan, but could he say that they have that, check the box for yes, and in the fine details say, you know, Shandaken, housing comprehensive, you know, housing plan 2023 through 2029 adopted or something like that. But I
But we
don't,
don't
like
have-
Grace says, with the timeframes of how you have to send the different pieces to all the different agencies to get approved, it's highly unlikely that we probably won't even have anybody lined up to help us from the county till February,
So am I hearing you correctly in that you're saying, thanks for coming, we would like to decline the offer?
What do you mean, decline the
Like-
offer?
Robert's asking.
Robert's asking us, can we present, and,
Sure, there's a board here. You all absolutely can do whatever it is that you all vote and agree on. I would not be voting for that.
Well,
That's all.
there's no way that we can have something officially approved, even if it's part of it, right? I mean, my understanding is when the approval process happens, it's the whole plan that we're submitting. Am I right about that?
Well, it would be a whole plan that we submit, and then we would have to put it out for public hearing, and it would have to go to the planning board, our planning board, and the county planning board. There would be some updates to it. Am I correct?
Yeah,
I mean,
so-
there are towns who approach it a little bit more iteratively with an idea that
Right.
the town does an update to their plan maybe every 2 years, understanding that there are always going to be sections that are lagging behind others. That's a tactical approach, and that may or may not be one you want to go for. But I do think we are in a position where there are certain grants we would be
So,
Under the full understanding that it isn't necessarily as complete as you would want on necessarily any one area.
Right.
But I think, you know, in the recognition that you've been working on this for about 10 months plus or so, if you've got a body of work that.
And that we would continue to work on this also.
So that's the whole thing,
It's
yeah.
a hard stop, it would just be an iterative
Yes,
release,
right.
which I think also has some merits to bring the public into it, because the public hearing would be an obligatory part of this. Obviously,
We should send out some kind of a survey
Yeah.
for that.
being able to show, here's what comprehensive plan committee has done over the last year, I think has some merits, probably unto itself.
Right.
although
Why
it's
don't you,
very
I think
why don't you specifically see if that's something that is an approach that we should take? If that's the
So
Economic Development Council's,
something I've received from the reviewer on the CPC grant that I did earlier this year.
they said just change the font and say
They
you.
said you need to have an update to your comprehensive plan.
Well, we can pick perhaps just a piece. And it
And that would be
and it
fine.
would
Like I
be,
said,
it would
I
be helpful to know if what grant we were trying to go. So if we're gonna try and say, go after something for like the water system or something like that, we have the SLR report theoretically, which could be,
This is the question I would have, is if there's a section that you feel is most complete.
no, because we haven't really, what we haven't done is any public outreach early on like you're supposed to, and we haven't done any analysis. All that we have done is look at existing conditions and what has changed or what has been completed of the implementation plan. But we haven't conducted anything that actually constitutes planning, just saying.
well, that's the
Realistically
hardest
speaking,
part, though.
yes, and realistically speaking, if the goal then is to get something adopted by May, I think our best shot, if we're not just gonna change the font, would be likely to be,
Yes.
I
I didn't think it was funny.
I think the only thing realistically that this committee could get out by May would be to incorporate what we've been doing these past few months, to make the corrections to the plan as it sits, to update what we know to be correct and what we know to be done, which is what we've been doing.
Correct.
And that I believe that we could be put together with enough time for
Yes.
public hearings, for community input on stuff like that. But the
Right.
thought of getting a survey together that's gonna have any kind of impact on this
Yeah.
plan in a positive way and ready to present by May seems a little daunting to me.
Right.
So why don't we call it a revised plan,
I think that's what.
That's fine,
Right.
that'd be great. I mean,
That's,
as opposed to an updated?
Yeah,
that's pretty much exactly what I.
Sorry.
What?
I'm sorry.
No, don't be. I'm saying we're all, whatever route we need to take.
I just
to
don't
get
wanna
us-
call it an updated plan if there hasn't
Revised.
really been
I love
anything of like,
Revised, I think is better. As long as
substantively-
Whatever we all need to say to get us to the same place,
Yes.
I'm fine with. We can all
Revised feels
repeat-
like a working document.
We can all say it back and forth, it's fine. What I am trying to get across is like, we have, at this moment, Robert has come forward and said, we have grants that we can apply for. In order to apply for them, we need to give some type of an update. So thus far, let's say what? Revision, sorry. If you were to ask for that right now, we do have something we can give you, right? Like, we would just need to integrate the updates, revisions, changes, recommendations that we've made so far.
maybe it's also something that, doesn't necessarily, that, how would you say that, rather than delete and replace, maybe in some sections it has a note that's explains where it's at. So anybody that looks at the document would see what it was before and have, kind of like what we've been doing, right?
But why not just, like, we're on page 85, why not, like, let's say we make a decision that next month is gonna be our last month of editing. Or we can push and we can say, we wanna submit something by May, so, by March, we're gonna stop with this revision process, and we are gonna spend the next month or 2 months consolidating, editing, reviewing the edits in order to put forward. Like, then we would say, we wouldn't maybe even submit, we could put like a line across it that from this point forward, these revisions have yet to be integrated or something like. So I think that we can say, okay, we've done 100 out of 150 pages or something like that. I think that there's a way to achieve this that
Yeah.
integrates everyone's feelings, which is we want to apply for grants. We've done a certain amount of work. There's more work to be done. We recognize that in submitting what we have done for the grants, there is more to do. Here are the things that we have not yet done. We have not done a survey. We have not had a professional outside planner
Well, we
come
can
and
have
review
that
this.
in our actions,
Exactly.
you know, like, we're
100%.
gonna
That's what I'm
update our
saying.
new
We
actions.
can lay all of that out.
Yeah.
And then, it does seem like, again, I didn't do this 18 years ago, but it does seem like this is a continual process.
It,
Where,
it should be done every 5 years. I actually like the every 2-year idea,
but we're not, you know.
because so much changes
There's
these
no way
days.
this is gonna, maybe this will be completely done within 12 months, but
Like I said, there are some
Probably
that have,
not.
in effect, permanent committees
Mhm.
dedicated to the comprehensive plan, and they're just continuously working on them.
And
you
There's
roll
always
off it,
there's
you know,
always
like-
part of the plan that's 10 years old.
Right.
There's a part that's 2 years old, there's a part that's 10
Yeah.
years old. It's just
So you're
a
actually
little bit long.
scheduling in updates that.
right. I
Right,
think that's an
yeah.
interesting
Novel
idea.
idea.
And it's
Yeah.
not so daunting when we think of it.
Right,
I think
and,
that that's a really
and
interesting
then you have
idea.
people roll off it like the other committees, because I don't want to do this for 20 years.
It's an approach, and I think
Yeah.
that's some merits.
Yes.
I think it does, I like it.
Certainly, if that's something that the community feels to do, I would appreciate it.
Mhm.
Well, we really appreciate you coming and letting us know this information. I think that it also gives us some clear parameters and a deadline that we can work towards. I think, you know, I would say we can, I mean, are we allowed to vote on it now?
I'm not sure there's anything to vote on.
Well,
Yeah.
Or like a step, that we'll say, we are gonna, I don't know.
And maybe for next month,
We can-
have
We
the,
can just agree we're gonna do this,
Um,
we're gonna move forward.
Great.
have the housing committee come here.
Yeah, Sophie was going to come and just
Yeah.
introduce the concepts of
Yeah, she
what's
came-
available, but she wasn't feeling well.
Yeah, she
so-
came
She did come.
at first, right, yeah, she
Right.
came a few
But
months
she
ago.
said she'll come in January, and we can
Alright.
we should formally invite any and all of them if they want to come and participate.
The housing committee. And I do think we should just, like, the idea of pivoting and just focusing exclusively on housing.
Well, I don't think we should do it. I think we should work with them. But they're doing it, they have a committee. And I'm sure there's areas we can
Yeah, but
assist
we,
them,
we should
but-
be collaborating and
Mhm.
guiding them on what kinds of studies and evaluations
need?
we need that,
Okay.
or, because they don't know what they need.
Okay.
And they're looking for guidance on, you know, what should they be doing to figure out how they
Okay,
can be most
I'll
effective?
invite her and I will pull out the housing part and send it to her. And,
So it looks like we're almost done with the first part of what we were going through page by page. I mean, there's not a lot left.
no,
And,
there wasn't a lot left.
and then the next steps, we don't have to do that. We can actually consolidate what we've already gone over and make a new text that we think is
Exactly.
is expressing what we wanted to say, and then that would be already a revision.
Correct.
And pick a new font.
I don't like this font,
And
no.
we're gonna add some pictures too.
Okay, so my suggestion is that we put a pin in this, we kind of close this particular conversation.
Okay.
I think it's really
Yeah.
helpful that you came and let us know. I think May is I think we can shoot for that. I think we can
Yeah.
shoot to have, you know, maybe by March, we can be done with this particular process of the revisions. We can then work on cleaning it up, and then maybe in our April meeting, we can work to, finalize it and get ready to get it over to you guys in May, knowing that this is an iterative
No,
process.
we have to have it to that, it's what, 3 months beforehand.
Yeah.
3 months before May, you just said May.
That's when they need to be able to have it on their agenda.
Well, no, our agenda, if we got it approved in July, that's still be at the end of the CPA, because the
Right.
deadlines are at the end of July, going in August.
Yeah, you said May.
Okay, so if we turn it over to you for all of the required referrals by May,
That's what,
May, June, July, yeah, that's about right, yeah.
yeah, I mean, I'm just repeating what.
Yeah, no,
what you said.
because I'm assuming 3 months, July is when we would have to have it done, so that would be your May meeting, we give the rest of May, all of June, and at least some of July ahead of CFA, so.
Who's responsible for forwarding to Ulster County for their comment? The town board or this committee?
the town board.
Okay.
We advance a draft to the town board, and once the town board has a draft, they have to do all of the required referrals and send it, they have to send it to the planning board, they have to send it to the
Do we have to have a public hearing
local
of any
planning
sort?
board. We do, I don't think we do
Okay,
as
then
the,
that's-
but we should have
Oh, I see, should.
public
Exit to
meetings.
west.
We should be like inviting the public specifically to come and, you know, air their concerns on topics at certain points.
But for the draft that we're doing though, do we have to go through all the approval process involving, hearings and?
No, the town board does that.
We
What town
don't, we
board
send
does.
it to them.
We
We're
don't-
just, we're like the writers and they're the,
So we can do that at a preliminary stage? And just do that part and then add other parts? Oh, so that ought to,
Yeah, no, I
That
think
ought to
if,
yeah.
if that's amenable, thank you for your consideration, I think that would be helpful. If it doesn't happen, obviously, we're kind of where we are now, right? Like, you know, but if it is possible, I think there's some utility to that. It, I think makes us, gives us some more opportunity going into next summer.
I think it's also easier for people to digest a small piece, you know, a part of the comprehensive plan instead of waiting till it's all put together and then having a hearing about it.
I would tend to agree. I also
Yeah.
think it might be having a draft itself is a way of engaging with the public.
Yeah.
Okay, like, here's the work we've done over the last
Right.
year. And there's more ongoing, if you'd like to contribute or be involved or share your thoughts, it puts it in front of folks as public.
Yeah, good idea.
Now, what about the editing?
Like who's gonna do it?
Yeah.
Me.
Oh, I was
I
gonna say,
can
I
help
can
out
do
with
it.
that,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, sure, or you can do it.
If you
Okay,
want, I mean, how about the three of us agree to do it? We can do it on Google or Google Docs?
That's where we have everything now.
Yeah.
Okay. Or we can split it up and everybody does a page, or I don't know.
That's a good idea in sections, and then we can each edit each other's and see what we missed. and-
Yeah.
All right.
Hey,
Hey, Kev.
How's the weather out there?
Pretty bad.
Yeah,
Well, roads are slippery.
Oh,
God.
great.
so you come from this way?
42 is a mess, but 28 is a little messy.
We'll be okay.
150 more minutes.
Yeah, let's leave it exactly 8.
It is early. You mean leave it at 8? Okay. All right, well, I mean, yeah, I guess we have the opportunity now to say that either we call the meeting now.
Not because I'm here, though, right?
I know, I feel so bad.
Like, oh,
Kevin
Kevin's
came.
here. In that case, I've got
Thanks for
nothing
coming,
more to say.
thanks for coming. Bye.
As long as I can be part of the meeting.
Oh my God, you are, you're
You
here
are.
no matter what. Or we give 15 minutes over to the implementation and plan where we're at economic development.
Well, maybe we should update Kevin on what we just talked about.
Just keep moving.
we could do that
He
after.
can watch the video.
Yeah, we look really happy
We
in
were,
the video. Okay. Are we, so yes, we're gonna, great.
yeah.
So we are at, for those of you following along, we are looking at the implementation plan. And we, last month wrapped up, person-made resource preservation and restoration. And this month we will be looking at economic development. So, the number one, Chamber of Commerce and business attraction. programs help attract new desires, forms of development, encourage development that is consistent with the goals of this plan, facilitate cooperation with neighboring towns to develop regional economic programs, assist with new business and new business and home business.
Home business, it's,
Yeah.
Home
there's a
business
period that
startups.
shouldn't be
Yeah,
there.
startups.
Home business startups, the next
home
page,
business
yeah.
startups, and provide information and access to programs and financial assistance sources to assist economic development efforts. So, noted here are just some of the organizations that have since been created. The Phoenicia Business Association, these are new additions to our notes. The Phoenicia Business Association, the Rotary, PH2. I don't know if there's any like direct edits that need to be made to create what is the economic development. I mean, I think Chamber of Commerce / business attraction. Yeah, I think this feels rather specific, and maybe we could change it rather to being more like to business development, or like, and then under that sort of outline, it's not just the Chamber of Commerce that we want to be connected
Yeah, we
with.
should take that out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and instead, so maybe we call it,
There's also the Central Catskills Chamber of Commerce.
so maybe we call it, instead of Chamber of Commerce, we'll call it, business,
Local businesses.
yeah, or business,
Well, do we have a Chamber of Commerce as is stated here, or was
No.
it done?
No, I mean, we have Phoenicia Business.
Okay, so that's all we have is the ones we just mentioned, okay.
right,
And the Central Catskills.
Well, maybe that could be our update, it's just naming the ones that have been done according to the old plan.
right.
We didn't do the Chamber of Commerce, but we did all these things.
Well, do we think
Yeah.
that, do we think that we want a Chamber of Commerce? I think that's the first question, is that like, is it important to have a Shandaken Chamber of Commerce? Like, the Phoenicia Business Association is specific to Phoenicia, so
It's not.
it's not.
It's not. I think, no, because the Central Catskills Chamber of Commerce is pretty comprehensive. They're trying to really be the go-to resource for businesses in, this mountain, this section of
In between
Ulster
that,
County and Delaware County, and they're trying to get the funding, and so no need to, recreate something. We should just participate and jump on that bandwagon.
Great,
And for those who don't know, the Phoenicia Business Association has businesses from Indian and Pinellas Mount Trumbull.
great.
So
then-
maybe
It's
we
just
should
Phoenician name only.
Yeah, so we'll say all Shandaken. All right, so then I think that this section is rather, the update is we are not interested in establishing a Chamber of Commerce, but instead we are looking to work closely with the existing business associations and Chamber of Commerce. Right? So continue to work closely with current.
And what did you say the Friends one was? You said Friends of
No.
one of these, I started writing it. Friends of Catskill?
Central Catskill Chamber of Commerce.
Central Catskills Chamber of Commerce.
No, I thought she said something that started with Friends of.
All right, great.
So we can name them, right, the ones that exist,
Yeah, so I have Phoenicia Business Association, the Rotary, PH2, Central Catskill Chamber of Commerce, Ulster County Chamber of Commerce, and then if we think of anything else, we can add at a later date.
And I
Okay.
think the rest of the wording looks like we could keep it. What do you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think we're just gonna take out the establish and instead update to, work closely with. Great. We do need to figure out what to call that, but okay, call that section, but I think,
Economic development,
yeah, like, rather than Chamber of Commerce and business attraction, it's like, maybe just commerce, or how about just commerce and business?
Yeah.
These organizations can implement, I would take out can and just that they do implement.
Yeah,
Implement. Implement.
Great.
Good.
All right, so letter B, a professional brochure promoting the town to tourists and businesses can be effective. Promotion of the town via its website should also be pursued. In today's increasing technological society, this website can be an important marketing and communication point for the town to provide business, regulation, and tourist information and business incentives. Grant funding for website enhancements can be obtained from a variety of sources. So, great, we have a website, so I would say, rather than, like, that we wanna create a professional brochure, maybe we just outline the ways of communication that we,
Right, that's what I meant when I wrote, is this still a thing?
Yeah.
I was specifically meaning the brochures.
But I think we do have, we have tourist handouts about the town.
Yeah, so
And we have a website, and we have Facebook.
Instagram, is there,
platform,
Instagram.
yeah, Facebook, we do have an Instagram.
Not Phoenicia.
Not, but it's for Phoenicia, so I think that we could lean into the
We have the
Phoenicia.
business one.
Right, but like we can lean into that and expand that to cover more. But, or the same way that like the PBA has other towns or hamlets, we could have the same thing happen for Phoenicia. So we do, I'll say we do have that. So we have the tourist, platform, tourist brochure, Facebook, IG, website. I think that's good.
So we just put it in the present tense then.
Yes. Oh, the other thing, this could be one of those, well, yeah, that's good. That's enough. All right, then we have.
Well, these are implementations that now go to existing conditions, right? They got moved,
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Well, some of these implementation measures are being converted to, existing conditions,
Yeah.
basically.
Yes.
And they're gonna get moved out of here and into somewhere else.
Exactly. Wonderful. So letter C, the Ulster County right-of-way, currently used for tourist train operations, is a unique and invaluable resource and should be studied to determine its potential for tourism or other uses by the town.
And it is.
Okay. The location along Maesopus Creek and Route 28 not only makes for unparalleled scenic views and access, but also provides the link by which the many activity centers along the corridor can be economically and visually connected. So this is listed, and the update is now a rail trail. So is that what the Ulster County right-of-way is?
Yeah, it
Yes.
should say the Ulster County,
Rail bikes.
the Ulster and Delaware right-of-way, owned by Ulster County.
Ulster and
Delaware corridor.
County.
No.
No, Ulster and UND corridor, UND corridor.
The rail, that's the rails, is the UND corridor.
Right.
Yeah.
So Ulster and Delaware County right-of-way.
No, not county.
Sorry. Thanks.
Is the name of the train,
Yes, Ulster and Delaware right-of-way.
UND.
Great.
line.
It's
train
not,
line.
so it's not used for tourist train operations, because they currently used for.
No, it is. It's used for rail bikes.
Right, sorry.
Oh, yeah, the rail
I thought-
riders,
I thought
but that's
I was
not a
gonna say-
train.
I
Yeah.
was gonna change that to say
Right.
current use for, rail trail. Rail,
But,
They're a bike train.
rail explorer.
and it's just a portion of it to between Boyceville and Phoenicia.
Right, currently used for rail explorers between
Phoenicia and Boyceville.
Phoenicia and Spell. Great.
And then
But
there's,
they're also proposing
The-
to expand
correct.
it, so we could put that in
so we have the
also.
proposed rail trail between Big
High Mount
Indian
and Big
and
Indian.
High Mount.
So, rail explorers is a unique and valuable resource that should be studied. I don't need to study it. We already studied that. Let's just say unique and valuable resource.
I think it's the right of way, that's,
The right of way is
Yes.
the
is the unique.
unique and invaluable resource.
Okay, does it need to be studied?
No, well,
I
the
don't-
county is doing, it's the county and the county is studying it, so the town doesn't really have any involvement in what happens necessarily with the county's right of way. We may get some input, but they've already made they've already determined the future uses of all the different sections. And besides the section from Phoenicia to Boyceville, all of the sections from Phoenicia west have been designated for future trail. And they're approaching it from a standpoint of developing the most feasible sections first, the ones that have the least amount of washout and offer the longest continuous stretch for recreation. And that's where they're starting now, is up in Pine Hill.
Great.
From Pine Hill to Big Indian.
Awesome.
But what we should be doing is looking at ways that we can utilize the economic development that's anticipated with the use of the corridor, even if it's, you know, what they've found with the Ashokan Rail Trail is that a lot of, you know, yes, it gets a lot of tourist use, but it also gets a lot of regular local use. And when those people are in the area of the trailheads, they also avail themselves of the local businesses. So we should be looking at ways that we can enhance, you know,
Well, I know, yeah, Pine Hill's already, everybody's already talking about it.
yeah.
Great.
And just different connections. And then the other thing about the opportunity of the right-of-way for our community is the ability for it to be used as an alternative to Route 28 for non-motorized transportation.
Bicycles.
You know, I could get on the trail at the bottom of Fox Hollow and zip downhill all the way to Phoenicia and then
Ride back up.
either ride back uphill with an e-bike, or I could put it on the front of the UCAT at one of the 3 times that it goes up and maybe get home.
Great. All right, so for this one, I think, yeah, this is all super helpful. We'll just integrate, you know, move some of what has already happened. We can move to the Shandaken today, and then I think it's still a work in progress, so it can stay in this section as well. All right, letter D, pursue the development of the interpretive center at Mount Trumper as the first step to creating the gateway features into the Catskill Park and forest preserve in the town. So the update here is just, it's done. So we can move that to Shandaken today.
Right.
Great, fantastic. Letter E.
I'd like to say,
Yeah.
one more thing about that would be more, broadcast what it is, like more promotion.
That's a great idea.
Right.
Of the interpretive center, because I think at first when it came out, everyone knew about it, but now it's kind of fallen.
And use the visitor center
Yes.
nomenclature, which I think.
It's not the,
Yeah.
yes, the Catskill Visitor Center.
Rather than interpretive.
Yeah.
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 Okay,
that
so
was
we have to
good,
update it,
because-
yeah.
And
'cause-
continue, and
No.
And Leah put coordinate with the Catskill Center or whoever maybe the entity operating the visitor center to ensure that it, I don't know, does the most it can for Shandaken. We can figure out exactly what that language is, but.
Promote it.
Like it has public bathrooms, they're not open all the time. Could it be something that was open more frequently? And would that be better for us as a town and the surrounding community? Or,
Like restrooms.
or a comfort station or someplace to get rid of garbage?
Exactly.
Car chargers.
Car chargers. Okay, great. Let's just pause here for a second. Car chargers, maps.
See what slack they can take up.
What was the other thing? Oh, Wi-Fi. What are the other things? I actually think this is something we could really lean into.
The compost, could that be a public place that they,
Well, they're gonna be at the town, they're doing it at the town hall.
Well, they have a gate there right now, so
Yep.
something.
Well, I think we need to talk to them because we don't know what they want to do, you know, they might think we're imposing.
Well, in terms of business development though, like just to bring us back in, I think that we also look at possibly using the visitor center to promote local
Lo-
businesses.
oh, yeah,
Like
sure.
have it be sort of taking it from both angles, like finding a way to promote the center itself and then use the center to promote the town.
Okay,
Awesome, we are almost done. We have got two more quickies and we're out of here. So letter E, hiking, biking, scenic river walks and trails should be developed to link hamlets together. So that's already happening. I don't know that there's anything,
well, I just thought it was part of C.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
added back into, yeah, all right. Just say, and then last, in this section is letter F, design standards for certain sign types, facade improvements, and streetscape improvements that could be established to create a sense of unity throughout the town, which can be attractive to businesses to coordinate with the DEC and DOT regulations and to attract people to these existing centers.
I think that ship has sailed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think this whole thing is just strike that out.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, the DEC has their standardized signage that they've adopted
Yeah.
throughout the park. We could try to get more presence of our attractions and things on those signs. You know, from the farmer's market, we wanted to try to get something up, and it's not very easy, so.
No, don't you have to pay for it too?
We couldn't even get to like, what is the process, and
Oh, okay.
Well, I think just,
we gave up, you know, we didn't try too hard, but, you know,
They're never gonna approve those signs. They won't approve.
they won't make it
yeah,
I was on the phone with her 2 days ago.
to put we wanted to get a brown and white sign.
Oh.
Put on the brown signs that says like Phoenicia Farmers Market, you know, May through October or something like that. And have it at one of the ones right at the entrance to Phoenicia. You can apply to get things put on those signs. But the process,
advertising for something that's not on the Route 28 corridor is not something that DOT encourages.
yeah, they were being really
the nicest
obnoxious
way that
about
they
it,
say.
yeah.
well, I do think, you know.
But there are more businesses or more things that we probably could get onto those signs if we looked and tried, that's all.
I agree.
And they shouldn't just totally like come up with a sign plan and then ignore us. And in fact, you know, maybe trying to work with the DEC to somehow come up with better sign opportunities for the communities that are located off of 28. You know, the Catskill, when they came up with the regulation about signage for the Catskill Park, 28 was not, you know, 28, it went through all our main streets, right? And then what they did is the DOT comes through and puts in, you know, new Route 28, and now all of a sudden, all of our communities and businesses are off Route 28, but yet they don't want us to be able to promote them on 28.
I want to
Doesn't
put,
the byway not want that either, though?
The byway wants to help improve these signages, and that's how they got, that's as far as they were able to get with this level of signage, but, you know, we're being, what's the word, curtailed, or, you know, we're being stymied by these regulations that don't allow us to,
well, maybe,
more promote our community more consistent with how we want to promote it, you know?
And we're missing that Mount Tremper sign when they did the whole bridge reconstruction, and
Yeah, the
We need the
triangle
Mount
sign
Tremper
went
sign
away,
back.
and now no sign came back, and
no.
okay.
so,
We can't even get a sign for the turnoff that says turn here. for
so maybe we just, that's our thing, that we
Okay.
try to work better.
Okay,
This rabbit hole's getting deep.
yeah, so I did just to.
It's a good
Just
one,
to
though.
ensure that, like, that last bit, that what we just talked about with the signage and. we
We'll
said
pick
we're
up,
We'll just strike that, yeah.
No, I was gonna say, that's obviously still something that we want to pursue. So I just made a note of that. I do think that it can stay in the comp plan. This is something that we would like to continue to work towards.
Well, I wouldn't leave this language in there, I would rewrite it. so-
Yes.
Because it's, we want to try to, work with the DOT
I wrote exactly.
and DEC
I wrote. that's
to
what I wrote exactly what you
improve
said.
signage options
okay,
for
well, hopefully by
hamlets
next
to
month.
encourage
I wrote that.
economic activity. Does anybody like that?
Beautifully worded.
Don't ask me to say it again.
Oh, I got it.
Okay, we have any turn the video off? Excellent. Okay, I would like to, end the meeting. All in favor? Excellent. Shandaken.
Aye.
Aye.